Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the June 7th City of Oldsmar Council meeting. It is 7 p.m. I am calling this meeting to order. Would you please rise? Our invocation tonight will be led by Pastor Jerry Flinch of the New Hope Baptist Church, and then our Pledge of Allegiance to the flag by our City Attorney, Tom Trask. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let us bow our heads. Our Father in heaven, Lord, we come now to thank you first and foremost for this day. Thank you, Lord, for our coming together this evening at this council meeting. We ask, Holy Father, that you would touch our hearts and illuminate our minds and unify us tonight as we come together. We lift our council mayor up in prayer tonight as they embark on this journey of leading our great city and our community forward. We thank you, Lord, for them. We ask that you would let your holy and divine spirit intervene as needed as they go along the way. We ask tonight, oh God, that you would remember those that are suffering tonight in many conditions. We pray for our community at large, and we ask that you would just touch and keep us under your care. Lord, we thank you for this place that's called Oldsmar, that we've chosen as our home. We ask that you would keep your arms around us and protect us as we persevere and move forward. These and all of the blessings, Lord, we thank you. In your Son, Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody. It's a little bit warm in here, but the air conditioner, I promise, will catch up. All right, with that, we're going to open up our Citizens Open Forum. Each speaker will be recognized once and will be limited to 5 minutes presentation on any subject. If you are here to speak on item 2 this evening, please wait for that action item. So item 2, just wait until we get there. Is there anybody that would like to speak on the open forum on any other subject? Come on up.
Are we required to do what we do in Safety Harbor? My name and address?
Yes, please.
Yes, okay. Janet Hooper, 601 Fifth Street, South Safety Harbor.
Joanne Fitzpatrick, 502 West Buckingham Avenue, Oldsmar.
Actually, she lives at Oldsmar Cares and I live at Maddie Williams Neighborhood Family Center.
Truly,
So let's be true about where we really live and where we spend most of our time. Basically, we're up here because during the pandemic, Oldsmar Cares and Maddie Williams did a lot of partnering to make sure that we had to buy meat together. We did a lot of different things together to make sure that we could take care of the families in both our communities. And so I wanted to be able to bring something to you. As you know, Joanne was recognized by the Lightning as a community hero, and she was kind enough to list us as one of the organizations. And because of that, and because when we give out milk and those kinds of things, and paper bags break, we need to put those milk in them. And so we use some of the money to create these reusable bags. And as you can see, you're each going to get one. Maddie Williams, Oldsmar Cares, and then the lightning at the bottom as a heart with vegetables around it. So as a symbol of our togetherness and our partnership, the three of us, in terms of providing food to the community. You want to say anything?
I just wanted to say thank you to you all for supporting both Maddie Williams and Oldsmar Cares. It's a big job, and without your support, we wouldn't be able to do it. Thank you.
We'll give you each one.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Oh, that's so kind of you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Diane. Thank you.
Thanks, Janet.
Thank you, Janet. Thank you very much.
Very nice. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
And I do have one more announcement to make. After 14 years, I am retiring from Maddie Williams Neighborhood Family Center. And I have my replacement here. Danielle Husband is going to be the new executive director of Maddie Williams. I'm still staying on in the transition period, and will probably still help with the expansion. But I'm turning the reins over to her. She doesn't know that she has to put a cot in the building yet. But anyway, Danielle, you want to say anything or just?
Good evening, everybody. I look forward to working with you, and I appreciate all the support that you've been providing and will continue to do in the future. So thank you.
It's
Thank you
nice
very
to
much.
meet you.
Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Danielle.
Best wishes,
Always.
Janet. Best wishes.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for the gifts. Anyone else on this side of the room would like to speak? Vince, I saw you. Did you want to come up? Come on up.
Hello, Vince Albanese, 404 Jefferson, and Donna Knapp.
Hi, Donna Knapp, 702 Merlot Court.
This is the other Knapp, as I introduced
The
you.
other one.
Yeah, exactly. I'm here on behalf of the Oldsmar Neighborhood Association and Operation Jack's Village and the Florida Organic Garden. On June the 13th at Tico Hall, we've been diligently working to maximize the utility of the Paint Up Fix Up money and putting that money in aggregate and redoing homes inside the CRA area. And the state of Florida is coming. I'll let Donna describe what's going to happen. But the news here is that on the 13th at Tico Hall, we're inviting our residents and anyone interested in understanding what Florida-friendly, resilient planting looks like. We'll have experts there. And then we'll be looking for individuals to volunteer to participate in the program. So just, again, that's the 13th, Tico Hall at 6:30 p.m. And Donna, maybe you could just spend a second and talk about what we're going to do that night.
Sure. We have Doris Heitzman coming in, and Doris is the head of the Master Gardener Program for the state of Florida. And so she's going to be talking about the 9 principles of Florida-friendly gardening. And she's also going to be talking about all the resources that are available to homeowners through the University of Florida and through the IFAS program. And it's actually the first step in a multi-step process. She will come in and follow up and teach people the principles of landscape design. So once you learn the principles of Florida-friendly landscaping, you'll learn how to design your landscape using those principles. So we're super excited to have her coming in.
Okay, good. All right. Thank you very much for all your support.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Great job.
Thanks.
The good work. Anyone else would like to speak in the open forum? Come on up.
Hello, Pam Settle, 439 Lakeview Drive. I'm here with a public service announcement. Citizens of Oldsmar may not be fully aware that redistricting has happened, and we have all new district numbers. So we have a primary coming up August 23rd. Our state house district has been changed, where Tracy Coster has been our representative. We are no longer a part of her district. We are now wrapped into Palm Harbor, which has been renamed. So it's now District 57. So when you go to your primaries, not all of the maps have been updated yet on the Supervisor of Elections page. So it may be hard to find some of this information, but people need to be aware that their state house district has changed, and also our congressional district. So Gus Bilirakis will no longer be representing Oldsmar. That district line was moved up to the Pasco County line. So from Tarpon Springs now south is all District 13. That is the seat vacated by Charlie Crist, and there are all new candidates that are vying for that seat. So I encourage everybody to research candidates carefully. There is a Republican primary that's happening August 23rd. There is not a Democrat or a Libertarian primary. But there are candidates for the general election in November. So just real important for everybody to know that we're losing our representatives at the state and at the national level, and we need to be diligent in getting out there and vetting candidates and being willing to vote and realize that Oldsmar has seen a change. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam.
Thank you, Pam.
Open forum, is there anyone else who'd like to speak? All right, with that, I am going to close the open forum. We're going to move on to the next item on the agenda, which is our community minute, which will be read by our city clerk, Ann Nixon.
We have some evacuation zone changes. Pinellas County Emergency Management has updated evacuation zones for the 2022 hurricane season due to updates in the high-risk maps. Postcards have been mailed directly to affected homes and businesses. We are encouraging residents to check their evacuation zones at storm.pinellascounty.org And they just changed them on May 18th, and yours can change. Councilmember Graber's changed, Mrs. Horvath's changed, and I went from a B to an A, which means that, yes, if we have an evacuation order, my husband's got to hit the road. Yeah. And so to help him know when to go, I advised him to sign up for Alert Pinellas. The 2021 hurricane season has officially begun. Can't say that enough, I guess. To receive important messaging from the city and county, sign up for Alert Pinellas for free for residents and businesses. You choose how to receive the alerts for up to 5 addresses in Pinellas County. www.myoldsmar.com, and then just click on the disaster prep button and it'll take you there. You know, it's kind of a good thing to pass on to your children if they want to keep an eye on you, or your parents if you want to keep an eye on them. You know, just family members from out of state, anybody can sign up. So go ahead and do it. My husband signed up. And so, you know, you got to know what to do when it's time to go. And the All Hazards Preparedness Guide is out there and ready. The Pinellas County All Hazards Preparedness Guide is now available at City Hall, Public Library, and Cypress Forest Recreation Center. Oh, we should put some here. That would be good. It includes vital information to assist Oldsmar residents and businesses to know zones, make plans, and be informed. Be sure to grab your copy during your next visit. And so, you know, my husband, well, I probably shouldn't share this, but his plan is actually to box his valuables up into boxes and take them to a storage unit. But there's more than that you can do. And to know, you should go get an All Hazards Preparedness Guide. And of course, it's available at pinellescounty.org/emergency/allhazardguide.com. Don't be scared, be prepared.
Oh, I like that.
Do you want to bring up that?
And we also have the Experience Oldsmar magazine, which of course is featuring BMX, because we're going to be having a BMX opening. It'll be announced when it's ready, but they're making a lot of headway there, and some wonderful articles, including a spotlight on resident Becky Afonso. And so if you get a chance, grab one, and you might get one in the mail too. So there we go.
Thank you, Ann. Appreciate your update. All right. Next item on the agenda is approve addition of new agenda items, item number 2 and item number 9. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, any discussion? No? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next on the agenda is awards and recognition. And today, item number 1 is presentation of the Council Manager Award for May 22, and that will be done by our council member, Andrew Knapp. Oh, you're already ahead of me.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we as a council and city are presented with an opportunity to extend many thanks and recognize one of the great institutions that support our everyday lives here in Oldsmar and the greater North Pinellas area. Hospitals are an integral part of the success of our society. Without them, we'd have far more of our loved ones leaving us much sooner than we would desire. It is with great respect and humility that we recognize Meese Countryside Hospital with the Council Manager Award for May of 2022. Recognizing such an important part of our community is long overdue. Meese Hospital originally opened in Dunedin in 1937 by Dr. Jack Meese as a 19-bed facility with a laboratory, cafeteria, and operating room. In 1978, Meese Hospital opened a satellite clinic on 22 acres of land on McMullen Booth Road. 2 years after that, a second floor was added, doubling its size. In 1981, the Meese Board of Directors applied for a certificate of need to build a 100-bed hospital on the Countryside Clinic site. The state approved the request, and in 1982, ground was broken that same year. The new Meese Countryside Hospital opened in 1986 and has not stopped growing ever since. Today, their 387-bed facility offers an unwavering commitment to the community. Designated as an IBM Watson Health Top 100 Top U.S. Hospitals in 2019 for the 11th time, their award-winning facility features multiple centers of excellence, including women and children's services, heart, cancer, neurosciences, and orthopedics. In addition, they have achieved certification as a primary stroke center by DNV GL Healthcare. With the opening of the Billheimer Tower, Meese Countryside Hospital continues to meet the healthcare needs of the community. The tower offers a new main entrance for the entire hospital, an increase of private patient rooms, the addition of 30-bed observation unit, and the Intel Education Center, providing more accessible environment for learning and patient education. For the last 2+ years, Meese has played an important role in helping our people weather the storm of the COVID-19 pandemic. Here in Pinellas, we faced 4 increasing waves of cases: July of 2020, January 2021, August 2021, and January 2022. The worst of the waves in terms of hospitalizations and deaths occurred during the August-September 2021 wave. During that time, the hospital system experienced a peak of nearly 700 daily hospitalizations. Thanks to the tireless efforts of the healthcare professionals, Meese Countryside helped to deal with the inundation of our hospital system and enabled more of our families to welcome their loved ones back home. Additionally, Meese Countryside provides special service to our city during emergencies. They provide us space to store our larger vehicles to protect them from bad weather. We are very thankful that their facility allows us this protection of our valuable assets. Now, please join me in extending a heartfelt debt of gratitude to all the nurses, doctors, technicians, RNs, LPNs, pathologists, administrators, janitors, food service providers, pharmacists, therapists, advocates, and so many more I couldn't name that make Meese Countryside Hospital the top-notch facility that it is today. Tonight with us, we have Michelle Powers, the ER manager, Andrea Derrick, assistant nurse manager, and Michelle Connington, an ER nurse. They're here with us, and they will be here to accept the award on behalf of the entire Baycare Meese Countryside team. Would you all come on up? Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Andrew. Great job. Next item on the agenda is our Community Redevelopment Agency, and it's item number 2, and we're going to discuss offer regarding the city-owned property located adjacent to the library. This is a new agenda item, and what I would like to do is I would like to keep this discussion open, and I'd like to start out with...
I have a point of order before we get into
oh, yes, thank you. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. It was brought to my attention today, my house is inside of the CRA, and we found statutes that basically I have to fill out paperwork to do this. So to comply with Florida Statute 163.367, I'm disclosing that my primary residence is within the geographic limits of the Oldsmar CRA. I'll provide the city clerk with a completed conflict of interest form within 15 days of this.
Thank you.
And I just want to make it clear that just because he has this obligation to do this under the disclosure statute, that does not mean that he cannot vote on any matter that deals with the CRA unless there's some special benefit or gain that he would receive. So if it applies to the entire CRA, you can participate and vote.
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Tom. Okay, back to discussion. I'm going to start out with Grady Pigeon. Would you please come to the podium, please, in case the council has any questions? And I'd like you to speak if you'd like to talk about anything about your letter that you sent to the council, please.
Hi, my name is Grady Pridgeon. My address is 240 4th Street North, St. Petersburg.
All right, you want to say anything, or does the council have any questions for Grady in regards to his letter? Yes, Councilman
I do.
Gannon.
I don't know if you wanted to say anything first. I certainly didn't want
Sure.
to probably preempt some of the questions.
Okay. Well, some of you know I've been developing in this area for a long time, almost 40 years. And I'm active in Oldsmar. I'm just started a townhome project just up the road in West Chase on their last 3 acres. We're doing 38 townhomes there. I have about 5 other townhome projects that we're getting ready to start. And I really love this location. I know you're far down the road with another party, but I think I can improve the plan, and I can definitely improve the offer. And so I'm here to answer any questions. I don't have a presentation. I know the process would be to have some town meetings, and I'd rather get input from everyone. Fortunately, there's been a lot of input. The plan that you have, I mean, architecturally, the vernacular is nice. But there's room for improvement.
Okay. Councilmember Gannon, do you want to start with any questions you might have?
Sure. Well, first, you know, Grady, wow. It was really exciting to receive your letter. I think a lot of people recognize your name in association with the Oldsmar Flea Market, of course. But certainly your reputation as a successful developer is well known, I'm sure, to everybody up here. In reading your letter, I had a couple of questions, and you may not have the answers to these, but I feel like I have to ask them given the time constraints here. Can you tell me the number of units that you're planning to build? It's not in the letters, and we've sometimes received letters that do express the number of units, and sometimes we don't. But I figured this was an opportunity to ask you that.
Right. Yeah, as I understand it, you could possibly fit on there maybe 92 units or something like that, but I don't think you can fit them on there.
Okay.
So my plan would be to open up the project a little bit, to add more green space, a dog park, more of a pocket park, and a larger clubhouse. So the number of units might go down a little bit, but it's probably in the vicinity of the 80 units. But I might lose a couple units to create some of the things I'd like to create.
Yeah, that kind of leads me to one of my other questions. You mentioned in the letter increased green areas, larger and nicer clubhouse, the pool located farther away, a dog park, nature trail. I was wondering where's the land going to come from? How are you going to fit that?
One of my ideas is to one problem with the plan is there's only one way in and out, and with that many units, you really don't want that. I'm surprised fire would approve it. So one of the ideas to create more green space is to flip that. When you go down straight down, and then you take a left and go back, paralleling the ditch in the back. One idea is to culvert the ditch, and that way you front on that. It creates triple the green space or more in the center. So now everybody's looking at a village green in the center, and when they come in, they're looking out. You know, it's really, if you walk the site, it's really pretty looking back at the wetland and the conservation area in the back. So that opened the project up, and that's where I would put the clubhouse and pool in the center. And then also you have right across from the near the State Street, there's a bus stop right across, and I've read how I've gone back and read, you know, about a year or so worth of all your meetings and everything, and everyone's trying to make it safer and slow down traffic. So one idea is just to have a pedestrian crossing there, a proper one with you know, you push the button and go across and get you safely across to the bus stop. But stuff like that, just to make it, you know, safer, slow down traffic, make it more appealing.
Okay, gotcha, I understand. So I know 6.2 units at 15 per acre is 93 units, which you mentioned. So when I'm doing the math off of the number in your letter, $4.8 million for the 6.2 acres, you do mention, of course, that it's significantly higher, $2 million higher than the offer currently being considered. So I'm wondering, how do you make that investment work? How do the numbers work? I know you are an incredibly talented developer, right? So you have many successful projects to your name, but I have no illusions that you're giving us $2 million out of the goodness of your heart.
I'm not giving it to you. Prices have gone up substantially in the last few years.
Okay.
I mean, just in West Chase, last year prices went up 25%, and they're still going up about 2% a month. So, yeah, the numbers work, or I wouldn't make the offer. So So, yeah, so when you started in this process, valuations weren't as high, but they've gone up substantially.
Okay. I think those are all the questions I have right now.
Thank you, ma'am. If there's any more.
I might add also that your city's blessed with great demographics. You have a huge job base with hardly any housing for it. You have average household income approach around 100,000, which is great, which makes these projects work. And you have your schools are rated 7 and 8, which is fantastic. So you have some great assets here. And I've been really impressed with how the whole community gets together and everyone listens and talks about what they want. So it's
Do you have any sort of site plan that you could show us?
Next meeting I could.
Okay, I was gonna say on the back of a napkin.
Well, I didn't know if you would just kick me out of the room or if you wanted to talk about it more. And we have world-class planners and that we can come up quickly with.
Sure. Because just a couple concerns because we don't have a whole lot of information in this letter, right? The letter is great. There's some great descriptions of things that you're intending to do, a great dollar figure, but then I'm having trouble with a little bit of the lack of substance. And I know when we initially got the letter for the project currently under consideration, it did have some units and later a site plan was provided, but then it took essentially a year for the site plan to kind of meet the needs of city council and the needs of the site itself, setbacks and all, all that kind of stuff. But it's hard to have, a known quantity in one. But in any event, I would love to see a site plan in a little more detail.
I could put something together within a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Member.
That kind of
Councilmember Gannon.
finishes my questions. I hope I won't come up with more. I'll try not to.
If you do, that's fine. It's important.
Thank you.
Councilmember Knapp, do you have anything you'd like to add, please? Yes.
This may be a bit of a pointed question, but why are we getting this letter now when the land's been vacant for some time? Was it just a matter of other workloads that you had, projects on your books that kind of precluded you from being able to be in the works back then? I mean, because technically you could have gotten the land for potentially cheaper sometime in the past and gotten a better deal than what we're getting now.
I wasn't ready at that time. I've been researching the townhome market for about 3 years, and I'm just getting ready to execute. So I wasn't ready.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
All right. Let's start with Councilmember Graber. Would you have anything you'd like to add? Questions?
Honestly, no. I've met Grady a few times. I've had good, decent, pleasant conversations with him. I've had them with John Buse and Devin as well. So as Councilmember Knapp alluded to, this came in kind of late. It's a piece of paper, so we don't have the meat that I think Councilmember Gannon was addressing as well. Certainly appreciate you sending it to us. I don't have anything in my hands where I can point to other than the piece of paper. So I'm just kind of, I'm stuck right now. But no direct questions from me.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
All of my questions have been addressed. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Pigeon, thank you so much for coming out. I'm going to let the other developer, let them speak. And if we have any other questions after they're done, I'll call you back up. But I want to thank you for coming out and thank you for your offer, but we'll be in touch.
Great, thank you.
All right. Mr. Buse or Devin, would you want to come up? Thank you.
Hi, Devin Rushnell, 2864 Kingswood Circle, Brooksville, Florida. I represent my LLC, Devin S. Rushnell LLC, which would be the potential developer for the Odeon Square project. I think this council knows that my group successfully developed Hayes Park Village within the city. It turned out to be a very nice community. We're very proud of it and how that turned out architecturally in some of our green spaces and that type of stuff. For Odeon itself, we've been working on this project. In September will be 2 years. We've been through the site plan. We've been through cursory review with staff. We hired Morris Engineering to work with us for many different variances. The overlay district that we're within on the redevelopment is not particularly an easy one to get through that process in terms of doing a development agreement, not having a contract to purchase unless the development agreement's approved. We've done traffic studies, geotechnical work, survey work, environmental work, pre-application meetings with water management, ongoing meetings with staff. Not to mention architectural work, pretty significant architectural work to be able to show what the end work product would be, and we can match what the city's looking for. I would ask that the city continue with us, obviously. We appreciate the faith that you put in with us in Hayes Park, and we'd like to continue that same work. I'm here for questions as well. Sure.
Okay, I'm going to start over on this side. Councilmember Graber, do you have any questions you'd like to ask?
Nothing for me, thank you.
Vice Mayor?
Questions? Thank you.
Okay, anybody on this side? No, we're good. Katie, we
No, I
okay?
didn't have any additional questions.
Okay.
for Mr.
I'll be
President.
available. Okay.
All right, thank you so much for coming in. Mr. Buse, would you like to bring anything to the table? Okay, all right. All right, so this item is open for discussion, and... Public? Oh, yeah, any public, I'm sorry, yep, anybody in the public would like to speak to this item? Nope, all right, we're good. All right, so this item is open for discussion, and I would like to open it up for discussion for us. I personally, $2 million is a lot of money for that property, but I think we're pretty well deep in with the Buse organization in this project, and it's been going on for 2 years. Does anybody else want to add anything to this? There's no need for a motion here. We're just opening this up for discussion.
Sure.
Councilmember?
Thank you, Mayor. I think that you make an excellent point. You know, me being the lawyer, of course. So, you know, and Councilmember Knapp alluded to this, the statutory period under 163.380, the notice that we published was back in May 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And that, for our residents, is sort of an invitation to let everybody know that we are in the process of looking at disposing of property that is owned by the city. And we invite anyone else who's interested to send in a proposal if they so desire. And so that 30 days would have been end of, you know, June or so, 2021. And, you know, we can look at this letter, and there's some wonderful things written in this letter, including the price, as you mentioned, Mayor. But it is a letter. I think we can take Mr. Pridgeon at his word if he intends to submit more, but I don't feel comfortable with the information that I have in front of me to do anything at this time. I would like to know the number of units. I'd like to see a site plan and how this could be accomplished. So those are my kind of thoughts. I was really excited that Mr. Pridgeon was interested. I would be delighted if he would also be interested in submitting a site plan potentially and a letter of interest for the City Hall property. Just had to throw that plug in there since we do have that RFP potentially coming soon. But that's kind of where I'm at. I feel like I don't have enough information.
Perfect. Thank you. Councilmember Knapp, would you like to?
Yeah, just a couple of comments. I think one of the things that's important that, you know, I've kind of just observationally over the years with how the city has been able to deal with development, we don't have necessarily the best reputation when it comes to getting projects off the ground and getting them moved forward, and even breaking ground for that matter. So I worry about the type of message that would be conveyed, or the additional reputational change by making any sort of moves off of the current path that we've been on. That is concerning, because I mean, even when Oldsmar Cares was trying to develop their building, I know that there was this bad taste in their mouth from trying to get that off the ground, and granted, it was a project of much smaller scale. So that's something I kind of weigh a lot in terms of trying to think through how do we want to see this city actually get growing, right? Mm-hmm. If we if we were to entertain Mr. Pridgeon's offer, what would stop someone else from coming down the road after he's a year into development and saying, hey, here's $6 million, and now we still have empty land? So it could be a vicious cycle as long as the market is still continuing to be favorable, and that's something I worry about. It's not wanting to get a project going just for the sake of selling the land and recouping some investment there. I think it's important, as I think this whole council would agree, in terms of trying to kickstart development within our city to make things more exciting around here. So I took that into consideration a lot in terms of where are we at right now and where do we see this city going. So just wanted to make that a point.
Thank you, thank you, council member.
Thank you.
Councilmember Gray, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Just, I mean, basically echoing what Councilmember Gannon and Knapp said, I would add as well, the 3 open houses that we had for this development project. I mean, the numbers in terms of agree and strongly agree, I think they were 82% and 84%. So the input, all of it was positive. And if it's one of our council priorities to get that input, we've gotten it now. Putting the brakes on the project after we received all of it, we've gone all the way down the road. I'm sitting there and I'm trying to come up with some sort of okay, but I'm 82%, 84%. I mean, that's a pretty high. We're in favor of this, and so I don't think we have enough, as Councilmember Gannon had mentioned, to act on anything tonight. I think we had a good discussion about it after we received the offer.
Vice Mayor?
You know, when this was brought to my attention, it's a tough decision. It's a tough thing to come up at this late stage in the game. And I've spent the last week going back and forth. And, you know, looking through my council packet, thinking about next meeting, we're reading the development agreement for this property. And why stop that process now?
Thank you. I have a couple things I want to mention. First of all, I want to thank Felicia Donnelly and the entire city staff for all your hard work that you've done in this project. Being the mayor of the city has been a little overwhelming for me, and it's been a joyous ride, I guess you could call, the last several weeks since I've been sitting up here dealing with the citizens of the city and the people. But I want to say one thing, that this hotel project that we had next door turned out to be a flop, and I don't want that to happen again. That turned into be a disaster for our city. It was a bad reputation for our city. Even through my campaign, it was a bad reputation for our city. And I don't think that's where we want to head. And I want to comment one thing what Councilmember Gannon just said. Grady, I appreciate you very much in bringing this offer to the city. It's very important that you did that. And I really appreciate that you care so much about our city, that you want to invest your hard-earned money in developing the land of our city. So as Councilmember Gannon said, I think you should get involved with Felicia Donnelly and maybe work out a townhome project next door on the city hall property. I think that would be a great opportunity and a project for you to start getting started now, because the city of Oldsmar wants a downtown. We want it as sooner than later, and you would be a great fit for that project, considering that you have substantially increased an offer for some property, city-owned property, that the city and the citizens of this city want to build a development. So I just want to say thank you so much for, you know, coming out and doing that for us. It means a lot, not only to me, and as you can see, the city council, they appreciate you. We really appreciate you. And with that, I want to just say that I don't think there's going to be a motion here to do anything different. This was just open for discussion. Am I correct?
Yeah,
Do I have a consensus?
I just had one quick question. Were you talking about the Simone project?
Yes.
Is that the one? Okay, the one where we negotiated it and then there was a technicality.
Then we decided to not do it, and
yeah.
right.
Well, and I just want to be clear on my position. I don't necessarily see there's to some extent not mutual exclusivity here. If Mr. Pridgeon wants to submit a site plan at the next meeting, well then okay, we'll have a site plan and we'll have our public hearing. I mean, it is what it is, and I think we can take him at his word. But you make an excellent point, and so did Councilmember Graber, about the public input that we received over those 3 different open houses. And I think that with the confusion that there's been in the past, when we ask our residents for their input and they give it,
Yep.
we need to honor it by using it and doing something with it and listening to them. And like Councilmember Graber said, the feedback was positive. And so to kind of switch courses with the information that I have here, I can't do that with what I have here. I have a whole lot, I have that known quantity, right? We have the open houses, we have some experience behind us now. We also have, the public input as to, the actual look of the project, the site plan. Our residents looked at the actual site plan. So I think we need to be really mindful of that. I don't think that's fair. But at the same time, there is a process and we can entertain more information and see where it goes, if anywhere, and that's okay.
Yep. And then don't forget tomorrow, the planning board, it's on their agenda tomorrow also for the planning board.
That's true.
So that's another issue. So I want to open this up for discussion of how do you want to proceed? Does anybody have any suggestions? Do we want to, Katie, you mentioned maybe him doing a site plan. Do you want to do something like that, or?
No, I don't think we need to take any action. I think the ball is in Mr. Pridgeon's court. I think he expressed that he would be interested in sending some more information, and we can let that come. And
All
if
right.
it's enough information to cause us to change course,
Right.
then we do that then.
All right, do we have any other questions for the developers from anybody? No, we're good? All right, then we're good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you all for
Thank you
coming
for
tonight.
coming out. Appreciate it very much. Next item on the agenda is the consent docket, which will be read by our city clerk, Ann Nixon. Any wish to pull anything? There's only one item.
Oh my goodness.
All right, I need a motion to approve.
So moved. You gotta read it, don't you?
What's that?
Does she
Oh,
have to
yeah,
read it?
Ann.
No.
Oh, sorry,
Read the
Ann. Yes,
consent
you have to
docket
read the
first.
consent docket.
Item number 3, approved minutes of the May 17, 2022 council meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a motion? Did I get a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor signify, discussion.
So close.
Oh, close, that's right. I got a motion from Councilmember Graver. I have a second by Councilmember Knapp.
Sure.
Discussion. No discussion.
No, sir.
All right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. City of Oldsmar. Item number 4, approving Stephen Phillips, an alternate member of the Leisure Services Advisory Board. Is Stephen here? Come on up. Welcome, Stephen. Welcome to the Leisure Services Advisory Board. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm sorry?
Tell us a little about yourself.
I've been a resident of Oldsmar since 1984. My wife and I moved down from New Jersey, and our kids were 3 and 4 at the time, and they've gone to school down here. Grew up in the area. My wife and I love Oldsmar. We have no intentions of leaving it. I'm the president of the Oldsmar East Lake Rotary Club. I had my own business here, which I sold to my son. And my son and I still have another business here in Oldsmar. I'm on the board of directors for the East Lake Woodlands Condominium Association over there. I used to coach Little League, and I believe, Andrew, did you play Little League back in 91, 92?
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I remember your name.
I probably played with one of your sons.
Yeah, I remember when you were playing Little League.
Yeah.
But I was involved in Little League for quite a while between my son and daughter, and that's about it, I guess.
Yeah, it says here, coached 11 years, 9 years in Oldsmar.
I'm sorry?
It says you coached 11 years Little League and 9 years in Oldsmar, coaching Little League.
Just about, yeah.
That's
I coached
great.
over in Countryside too, and I coached in Safety Harbor for a year or two over there. And I also coached American Legion baseball when my son was a freshman in high school. So
Wonderful. Do we have any questions from anybody?
I had one. You said you bowled for different leagues for 15 years or so?
I'm sorry?
You were in bowling associations for about 15 years or so in various leagues? Bowling?
Bowling?
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you ever bowled a 300?
No.
I always have to ask.
Just trivia.
Ever.
Just trivia.
So my question, since he brought it up, bowling is a northern sport. Are you from the
Absolutely.
Buffalo? Oh, New Jersey. Oh, okay.
I bowled one season down here, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it again. I'm like, I belong outside, not indoors. Yeah.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
When I moved down here, I tried to bowl too. It was like, forget it.
Yeah, it's not the same.
I know. Well, anything else you want to add?
I'm sorry?
Anything else you'd like to say?
No, not really. Can't
Well,
think of
we
anything.
welcome you to the Leisure Services Advisory Board. They need your help.
We need a motion. Need a motion.
Yep. All right, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
So move, a second.
Second.
All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Welcome to the Leisure Service Advisory Board.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for your willingness to serve. Thank you, sir.
All right. Next item on the agenda is City Attorney Tom Trask. Adopt item number 5.
Thank you, Mayor. This is Resolution 2022-11, approving a state-funded grant agreement between the State of Florida Department of Transportation and the City of Oldsmar. I'll read that resolution by title only. Resolution 2022-11, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, approving the state-funded grant agreement between the State of Florida Department of Transportation and the City of Oldsmar, numbered 449-193-1-54-01, authorizing the mayor and the city manager to sign the agreement on behalf of the city and providing for an effective date hereof. That was a reading of Resolution 2022-11 by title only.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this item? All right.
Just one. Can't wait. As the most frequent user of Douglas Road of this council.
This is true.
Wait.
This is true.
Is there any public comment on this item? It's for an approval of $1.5 million for the Douglas Road project. You want to come up and talk about it? Or? No? Okay. All right, so there's no one in the public that would like to speak. I have a motion, I have a second. There are no other discussion?
Just a nod and a thank you again to our delegation up in Tallahassee and
Yeah.
our lobbyists who've certainly earned their contract. We really appreciate this.
Yes.
All right, Ann, would you do roll call, please?
Councilmember Graber,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Buckman,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Saraki.
Yes.
Resolution 22-11, approving the state-funded grant agreement between the State of Florida Department of Transportation, the City of Oldsmar numbered agreement, authorizing the mayor and city manager to sign it's adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you, Ann. Appreciate it very much. Next on the agenda is City Manager Felicia Donnelly, item number 6.
Item number 6 is adopt resolution 2022-08, revising the budget for fiscal year 2021-2022. Attached is the resolution 2022-08 to revise the annual budget for fiscal year 21-22. The general fund and the water sewer operating fund require adjustment at this time. In the general fund, I've requested additional appropriations in the amount of $70,000 to cover a job classification and compensation study. This study will help to ensure market and internal structure alignment, identify paths for career progression, and address recruitment and retention needs. The general fund contingency reserve will be used to fund this adjustment. Also in the general fund, the Planning and Redevelopment Department has requested an additional $150,000 in expenditures to cover the update for the comprehensive plan and $50,000 to fund additional permit inspection fees and review services due to Pinellas County as part of the building services agreement with the county. The additional appropriations for these professional and contractual services will be offset by $50,000 of additional revenue from communications services taxes and $150,000 from state shared revenues. Furthermore, I've also requested 2 changes to the city's pay plan to better align with the current needs of the organization. A revision to the Assistant City Manager / Economic Development Director position has been requested to revise the position's job duties and remove Economic Development Director from the title. The pay grade for the Assistant City Manager position will also change from a grade 89 to a grade 86. The Planning and Redevelopment department is requesting to upgrade the vacant customer service position, grade 36, to zoning and planning technician, grade 48. Additional appropriations are not required for the pay plan revisions. However, these requests have been included in this amendment because they represent a departure from the fiscal year 21-22 budget as legally adopted by City Council. In the Water Sewer Operating Fund, the Distribution and Collection Division has requested an additional $700,000 to cover additional project costs expected for Phase 3 of the Harbor Palms Water Main Replacement Project. This estimated increase is primarily due to the petroleum and fixture price escalations. Water Sewer Operating Fund reserves will be used to fund this request. Also in the Water Sewer Operating Fund, the Water Reclamation Facility Division has requested an additional $1.3 million for the aeration system upgrade project. The engineering estimates to replace the dated blowers have increased drastically, also due to the current economic environment. This additional appropriations for this project will be funded using grant proceeds from the American Rescue Plan Act, otherwise known as ARPA. I'll read the resolution by title only. Resolution 2022-08, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, revising the budget for fiscal year beginning October 1, 2021 and ending September 30th, 2022, authorizing the city manager and the director of administrative services to revise the existing budget.
Thank you very much. I'm going to need a motion to adopt Resolution 2022-08. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion on this item from anybody? I don't have anything either.
No.
Okay,
Public comment?
any public comment on this item? Okay, and with that, close the public comment. With that, everyone in favor signify by saying aye.
So roll call vote, it's a resolution.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right, it is a resolution, okay. And roll call, please.
Councilmember Graber?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Buckman?
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp?
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon?
Yes.
Mayor Saraki?
Yes.
Resolution 2022-08, revising the budget for fiscal year 2021-2022 is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
All right, item number 7.
Item number 7 is approve an affiliation and sanctioning agreement for the Oldsmar BMX Supercrosstracks with USA BMX. USA BMX is a national sanctioning body of BMX racing, providing member tracks with insurance, point tracking programs, rider memberships, and governing rules. Additionally, USA BMX administers state, regional, and national level series competitions such as Gator Nationals, which is anticipated to take place in Oldsmar on October 7th, 8th, and 9th of this year. In order to participate in these programs offered by USA BMX and host successful events at the Oldsmar BMX Supercrosstrack, it is required that the city enter into a sanctioning agreement with USA BMX. This agenda item proposes an agreement that remains in place until December 31st, 2025. This agreement has been reviewed by the city attorney. Staff recommends approval.
All right, thank you. Do I have a motion?
Moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Go ahead, Councilmember Gannon.
Just one quick thing. I just wanted to, I'm not sure if you mentioned, Felicia, that the fees are based on the number of riders, and then we charge the fee to the riders, correct? So that it essentially it offsets.
Correct.
Okay, so we're not paying. It just comes out of the account for temporarily. Okay, that was my only question.
Okay. I just want to mention that I was out at the track today for an interview, and I want to tell you the track is looking really nice. We were on the top hill. It's there's a couple minor issues with the track, but as far as the ramp, it looked pretty well complete, except for some rails.
Yep.
They're
Great.
still doing the rails, but it really is really coming out to be nice. All right, with that, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 8.
Approve an agreement for the use of a portion of Bicentennial Park with the Oldsmar Organic Community Garden. In 2012, the city designated an area of land at Bicentennial to establish a community garden where volunteers and staff work together to lay out garden plots and install a fence. In 2014, the volunteers formalized and established a 501c3 status, forming the Oldsmar Organic Community Garden. Since its beginning, Oldsmar Organic Community Garden has provided opportunities for the public to learn about gardening techniques, maintain their own garden plots, and share in the joy of gardening with others in the community. This item recommends approval of an agreement that provides a portion of Bicentennial Park to the garden to conduct gardening activities. The city will share a portion of the irrigation costs at 50% up to a total of $500 annually. The club will be responsible for all other irrigation costs above the city's contribution. The agreement has been reviewed by the city attorney and staff recommends approval.
All right, thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the organic garden?
They're
Anybody?
fantastic.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Growing and growing.
One question.
Sure.
In regards to, I don't know if you've had a chance yet, do we find out if there's reclaim there or not, or if they're using reclaim?
No, that's not reclaimed.
No, there's not
No,
reclaimed.
that's regular fresh water there. I was there when they ran the pipe.
Okay.
Back in the good old days. All right, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. City Clerk, thank you, Felicia. City Manager. City Clerk Ann Niskin, what do you have for us today?
I don't have anything.
Nothing? All right.
Well, sort of.
All right, next item is number 9, discuss pilot intersection placemaking program, new agenda item. Katie, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. So it's a little bit cryptic. Discuss pilot intersection placemaking policy. So you're like, okay, intersection of what? No, I'm talking about like a literal intersection. So when we were doing our council priorities, one of them was increased citizen engagement. And so I, of course, look to different cities all the time to see what they're doing, to engage their citizens, to have, those opportunities for placemaking, whether it's a one-time thing or a program. And so what I'm looking for some consensus on is a policy to literally have a program for potentially painting certain intersections. Now, these would not have anything to do with safety, traffic, anything like that. This would be to have the city manager take a look at policy ideas and plans. For example, I found, and they're not the only ones, but the city of Clearwater actually has a program called Paint the Pavement. And so they have an entire process for their residents to apply and to seek approval from the city to paint an intersection with a design, of course, approved. The application process is not short, but it's adequate. They give steps to painting the intersection. They give tips on maintenance, and that includes, the type of paint and additives used to ensure that it's safe. And then they have a person who's called the Neighborhoods Coordinator who helps them through this process. Now, it doesn't implicate city funds necessarily. It's just to investigate an avenue by which our residents could potentially do this. So I thought it would be something interesting to bring to your attention. I'm sure you guys have seen some of the projects in other cities, whether it be paint the drain or paint the pavement. But I wanted to see if there was consensus to take a look at it, especially considering that it would only be really putting into place at, potentially the process for doing it and not necessarily any funding at this time.
Do you remember the painting they did at Sheffield Park? That was the volunteers. You were there, right?
Yeah, the one in the middle,
right
where the sidewalk
path is.
meets. Yeah,
So
where the
something
trail
like
meets.
that you want to do
Yeah, but of course it would be on a larger scale.
at intersections.
Well, very specifically selected intersections, I would anticipate that there would be, I'm not a traffic engineer. I have no input on that. This would only be for a consensus to have the city manager take a look at whether this is something that's feasible as a policy in our city. I don't know that yet, but that is what I'm talking about. So there's, this is really small, but there's an example in a
No, I went
neighborhood.
online, I saw a couple
And
of
this is
examples.
something that, could go north of Tampa Road, right? So over in Forest Lakes, for example, if a group, and this is the Clearwater project, so I don't want to say that this is what we would do, but the residents could get together, pool some funds, design a project, seek approval from the city, and execute it. and it's cool, right? I think that it's worth exploring.
Okay. Any other comments? Councilmember Gravery, anything you would like to add to that?
I'd seen them before, and then when we were having discussions, then the Sheffield Park one came up. But yeah, it's just a matter of, can we get the ball rolling to see? I'm all for it.
Vice Mayor, you have any comments?
Going back to what Katie originally, Councilmember Gannon said, I had no idea what you were talking about here when this came up. I was like, this is going to be interesting. But it reminds me of the high schools when they're painting their parking spots.
I remember doing that in high school,
and
right?
I'm
Give you like a
really
sense of
excited to see
ownership.
how this comes out, so I like the idea.
Councilmember Knapp, you have anything you want to add?
I love the idea of putting something out and adding some color to the city.
All right. Sounds like we have a consensus. I agree. I think it's something, Felicia, you want to handle that project? All right.
Not to give her more, but.
All right, we have a consensus. All right. Item number 10, appoint the voting delegate for the Florida League of Cities Annual Conference. Now, I and Andrew, Councilmember Knapp, are the only ones going, I understand, and Andrew has been the voting delegate for the last 2 years, so I don't have a problem. Do you guys okay with Andrew being the voting delegate?
Are you okay with that?
All right, do I need a motion for that? All right, I'm gonna need a motion for that.
Make a motion to appoint Andrew Knapp, the voting delegate for the 2022 Florida League of Cities Annual Conference.
If I could second, I would. All right, I got a second by the Vice Mayor. All in favor signify by saying Andrew Knapp. Andrew Knapp. All right.
We look
Anybody
forward
opposed?
to learning before the actual convention what you're going to be voting on, if you don't
Give me a
mind.
full report.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you.
Morning. I'll meet you there.
I think they moved it to
Don't
8.
vote that early.
Yeah, they do.
I remember going at 8.
Oh, okay. All right, that motion carries. Item number 11, council comments. We're gonna start out today with Councilmember Gannon.
Thank you, Mayor. Listen, Memorial Day, it was a really, really wonderful celebration. I just wanted to, again, thank our city staff and all of the distinguished guests who came, all of our residents who came, the veterans, the families, the Gold Star families. It was quite moving, as always, and I really appreciate that our city has that event. Not every city has a Memorial Day event, and we always do, and we always will, and it was very special. And I wanted to mention that I went to the first, well, not the first, but my first Forward Pinellas School Transportation Safety Committee meeting on June 1st, and it was incredibly informative. They had representatives there from the school board. They had representatives there from the Florida Department of Transportation, of course, Forward Pinellas, then also representatives from our other sister cities like Jeff Gow was there from Dunedin. You had folks there from PSTA because, as you might know, there's a partnership with PSTA providing bus services for students with a valid student ID because there's a shortage of drivers, which is probably not surprising. But some of the work they're doing generally, for example, there was a presentation on how to reduce the number of instances of people in cars blowing past stopped buses while they have out their signage and lights and everything. And this primarily happens, of course, on multi-lane roads. There's a huge problem with it on US 19 particularly. And, you know, some of the things that they're working to do. So right now, for example, if that occurs, the bus driver has to complete a report, and then that report has to include intersection information, the license plate information, if they can somehow get it while kids are getting on the bus. There's this big form that they have to fill out, and it's quite cumbersome. So not surprisingly, the data on how many people blow past buses does not match the number of reports that they're getting from drivers. Add on top of that a shortage of drivers, and you end up with a sort of lack of reporting. So one of the things that they're working on in conjunction, of course, is reducing the sort of line items, changing that report that a bus driver has to fill out so that the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office can identify hotspot intersections and be at those intersections. And then we'll have better real-time data as to where this is really occurring, as opposed to just the data from the few times that a bus driver was able to fill out that form. So, you know, when you have upwards of hundreds of people running bus stops each day, and you're only getting a couple hundred reports each year, there's a problem, right? There's a data problem there. So that was really interesting. They talked about dangerous walking routes and how they bus those students instead. So for example, if there's a construction project on US 19 or any other road such that the route to school for those who walk is too dangerous, they bus those students. And they talked about designating other areas, not generally in our area specifically, but more to come on that, that they bus instead. They talked also about the safe routes to school, because the application period, as we know, the workshop period is coming up in August, and this was one of our council priorities, so this was really important to me. And I wanted to be sure to communicate this to all of you, because we're gonna need it. They indicated to me, the Forward Pinellas folks, that it's a process, and we need buy-in from the PTA, from the principals, from residents, from parents. It's comprehensive. And so if this is a priority for us, we really need to make sure that we're all sort of behind this and moving it forward. So that was really exciting. Of course, they indicated that they would help us with the project, which I know our city manager was already aware of, but I wanted to make that known. And then last thing really quick that I brought up was the walking route to Oldsmar Elementary School is terribly outdated on the Oldsmar Elementary School website. I'm not sure what the problem is, but I'm finally getting some answers because I'm in front of the right people as to getting that changed, why it's up there on their website in the first place, and getting the safer walking routes designated for the people who live near Oldsmar Elementary, but more toward, for example, Park Boulevard or Buckingham, Dartmouth, all the way down to Shore Drive, because right now it kind of only encompasses right to Bayview over to Aventine Apartments. Probably a relic from when that was a dangerous zone before they put the crossing guards everywhere. But the map is outdated, and we need to do some work, because I've heard from a lot of parents who want answers, and I don't blame them. So I was really excited to be at that meeting, and then I will let someone else talk about the John Maroney First Responders Appreciation Dinner. But that was another fantastic event. So thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you for that update. We appreciate that very much. Councilmember Knapp.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few things. The first up, I was able to attend my first instance of the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council meeting back in May. I was able to attend virtually. I had a lot of stuff going on at work, so I was able to kind of just hide away for a little while and attend. They didn't quite actually have me updated on their roster yet. They still called out for Councilmember Graber, so I was able to let them know.
Was it Councilmember Graber? Because yeah, thank you. Yeah, I've never made the correction. I just said I was here.
Yeah. So the interesting thing though was the city was highlighted during that meeting with the Resilient Ready project that just took place. So we did get some nice comments and feedback during that session of the meeting. Second thing is, as I'm sure everybody here knows, it's Pride Month. I just wanted to send a personal message, not speaking on behalf of the rest of the council, but that to let you know that people of the LGBTQ plus community, you do have friends and allies here in Oldsmar. I did want to read a quote because it did kind of strike a chord with me, so if you will forgive me just for 1 second so I could pull it up. Because I think it's pertinent to more things going on in the world besides what the folks in just that community deal with. It says, "This world would be a whole lot better if we just made an effort to be less horrible to one another," and that was from Elliot Page. So I think that goes beyond just what people that are discriminated in that community deal with. Obviously, people in Ukraine, same thing applies. So I just want to wish everyone a warm and merry Pride Month. Happy birthday, Councilmember Graber.
Thank you.
Grabber. And then finally, happy early Father's Day. As you all know, because it comes up all the time, still on baby watch. So my wife has an induction date of Monday evening, the 20th. So if she makes it that far, there's a very fair chance that I won't be here the next day for a meeting. But fingers crossed it happens, sometime soon, so we can settle back in and I can still attend. So and that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Next, I have Vice Mayor Buckman.
Thank you, Mayor. Been an interesting couple weeks in the Buckman household. We kind of got down with the flu in been pretty idle. Not many events that I've been to or things that I've done over the past couple weeks, but finally getting back into it. I wanted to add to Ms. Settle's comments earlier about voting coming up. And I'm not sure if people are aware, but the voting location north of Tampa Road is moving to the rec center, correct? Okay. So I want to make sure people are aware of that. I was able to attend the John Maroney event. That was amazing. The video of the dog was outstanding to watch that and see how that actually happens, and watching the canine units take down, I guess, perps is the way to put it, was really amazing. And then again, Memorial Day, my wife singing, she powered through that, going through the illness we went through in our household, and did a wonderful job, and wonderful job by the city. I sincerely still want to thank Felicia for moving those chairs out of the sun that morning. I can't tell you how much I thank you that I didn't burn my head that day. So I appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Councilmember Graber.
Hey.
I did it.
Thank you for the birthday wishes, Councilmember Knapp, Councilmember Gannon earlier. The mayor texted me and asked me if I was 30. I said more or less. Nobody needs to know. And Vice Mayor. It's actually my daughter's birthday, so my wife is here because we got a babysitter. Because my favorite birthday present ever was supposed to come to the meeting. She got, well, the babysitter came home and they started having fun. And she said she didn't want to come. So Kelly's here, and we're still paying the babysitter, but I couldn't tell her, well, now we don't need the babysitter. So we're going to go out, I think. You want to go do something? The only other thing I have, I'm attending the Florida Municipal Investment Trust for the Florida League of Cities. I'm attending that quarterly meeting. I drive to Delray Beach tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
And so we got a dinner with the folks that will be there, and then the next day is the meeting. Drive on back and try to make it to the reunion dinner at Tico Hall for the Citizens Academy. So lots of fun city stuff going on this week, but that's all I had. Go
Thank you.
Bolts.
I just have a couple items. I was also attending the John Maroney Foundation dinner. I thought it was wonderful. It wasn't as crowded as it has been in the past. And Councilmember Gannon and Vice Mayor, I'm glad you guys joined us for dinner. It was a fun evening. Going through some growing pains here, but I just want to say I want to thank the council for all your hard work and all you do. We're going to be fine, and we're going to get through all this. I guarantee it. With that, I want to say one other thing. Andrew, I already heard from the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council. They're excited that you're on the roster, but they told me
Now they know.
But they told me they want you to show up once. So I know you're busy at work. I want to mention that we moved our weekend wake up with the mayor. It's going to be this Thursday. It's Facebook Live discussion with Chip Potts, our director of the Leisure Services Director. Him and I are going to be live this Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Viewers can post questions, comments during the show. I hope everyone joins us for Weekend Wake Up with the Mayor and Chip Potts. It's going to be a fun thing. And Andrew, you made it through the meeting. Your wife didn't text you, so you're doing all right.
Not over yet.
I saw them last night at was it Juan's Mexican Grill. I got done playing hockey. They were leaving. I was walking in, and she's gonna go any day. I'll tell you right now, any day. And happy birthday, Steve.
Thanks.
All right, that's all I have. Item number 12 on the agenda is approve the tentative agenda for June 21st council meeting. Anybody wish to add anything to that? Oh, Councilman Knapp.
I know this is probably extremely tentative, but I'm open to the option. I think I had mentioned it at a prior meeting about wanting to explore implementing some sort of open format town hall sessions that allow kind of a question and answer type thing. I'm open to waiting. Obviously, we're not having our first July meeting, so if the council would prefer just to guarantee all of our attendance in the second meeting or the only meeting in July, I'm fine with that. But as you said, we might only have a few days, so.
Or Felicia.
I don't mind either way.
Felicia, would you want to add that to our workshop that we're having?
Ooh.
Our council.
Do that?
Yeah, I think it might work out better if we add it to that. Would that be okay with you?
You normally
No?
do your works, you could do it as a special meeting, either before or after, but you would not do it at the work
Okay,
session.
okay.
No, I mean, it's not that urgent. I mean, I know what I'd really like to see is have something set up prior to And we do have time now, given the state of the City Hall project,
Mhm.
but I really would like to see something put in place prior to things really picking up steam there. So I'm fine with waiting till July, but I mean, worst case is we put it on the agenda and then we just pull it back and
Okay.
add it later too.
So we'll add
I'm
it.
planning on being here in 2 weeks, so.
Okay. All right. Anybody else want to add anything else to the agenda?
Nothing.
All right.
You would like to give you some verbiage for adding?
I would like to hear
Yes.
your
Okay.
motion
This-
to amend the tentative agenda to add.
I move to amend the tentative agenda to add an item, discuss implementing periodic open format town hall sessions.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion on that?
No.
Thank you, Andrew. With all of that, everyone in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes to move the
Aye.
tentative agenda.
Move to approve the tentative agenda as amended.
So move.
All right. Any other discussion?
Andrew was the second?
Yeah.
Yep.
Meant second
Yep,
when he
he
said
meant se-
second.
I know he
I'm
meant second.
gone.
It's okay.
I'm ready.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Anything else for the record?
No.
All right, with that, I need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
I need a second, even though it's not necessary. Signify by saying, okay, wait, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this
We do
right.
it every time. Last
We're gonna
time we
do
don't
it. You
need a
ready?
second, we don't need a motion. What is it?
I'm leaving.
All in favor, signify by saying, go Lightning.
Go Lightning.
Meeting adjourned.
I thought we weren't doing the second in the voting.
Yeah, I didn't.